Prem Nam Bhajan, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. Yesterday we heard about how the 8 different times of the day, the Astamayama or Astakalya, represent the 9 limbs of devotion, bringing us from Shraddha to Prema. And I think we've finished. Nisha and Ratri Leela represents Prem Sambhoga, Nam Bhajan at the level of Sambhog Prem. So that's the Astakali Leela, and then that's one aspect, one of the 6 components. And now the second component is Shikshastakam, how these prayers fit together. So in Shikshastakam, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's very interesting revelation. He's saying in Shikshastakam, Krishna's daily pastimes are being described because it reveals the process of bhajan through which Radha and Krishna's sweet pastimes are revealed to the sadhaka. So what he's saying here, for example, Cheto Darpana Marjanam represents Shraddha. It represents this first Leela of the day, Nishant Leela. Nishant Leela means the end of night when Radha and Krishna are waking up. So someone we're chanting every morning since we're bhaktas, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. But I don't think when we chant this prayer we enter into the Nishant Leela of Radha and Krishna waking up in Nidhivan and lying in a flower bed in a loving embrace and hearing the peacocks and parrots and koil and myna birds singing. Then the gopis coaxing them, manjaris coaxing them to separate and go to their respective homes. I don't think we see that. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, and all of a sudden, I doubt it. But he's trying to tell us that we will see it when we chant Hare Krishna. Because Nam Rup Gun Leela, the holy name of Krishna brings us to Krishna's form, his sweet form in Vrindavan, Vrindavan Bihari. And the holy name brings us and fills us with the qualities of Krishna. We assume a minute portion of the qualities of Krishna by associating with the holy name, because the holy name is Krishna. You take on the qualities of your association. I think everyone's heard of this. You associate with good people, you become good. So if you associate with the Nam, Sri Nam Prabhu, the holy name is Krishna. So when you associate with the holy name, you're associating directly with Radha and Krishna, Sakshat. Let's say when Hare Krishna is chanting, when the Hare Krishna mantra is chanted by a pure devotee, he sees Radha and Krishna. We see syllables. I see Ha, I see Re, I see Krishna, Krishna. Actually, it's 3 syllables. 3 sounds. Krishna. I see that. That I can see. Because I have ears. My ears are telling me that these are the syllables Ha and Re. But are we seeing the form of Krishna when we chant Hare Krishna? I hope so. Or I would like to. And the qualities. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he's chanting the holy name, and he starts up, because the holy name has, of course, there are 16 words arranged in 8 pairs. So he says Ha, Hare, Hare. As soon as he says Hare, Hare, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has darshan of the Nam, Rup, Gun, and Leela of Krishna. Because in the holy name of Krishna, the holy name of Krishna is Krishna. So Krishna has a name, Krishna has a form, Krishna has qualities, and Krishna has pastimes. So the holy name has the name, form, qualities, and pastimes because the holy name is Krishna. Namino Vinatvam Naminamino. So when pure devotees, premi bhaktas, and when they chant the Maha Mantra, he's revealing, he's experienced, his revelation. Experiential philosophy, experiential religion. It's not theoretical, it's experiential. It's practical. He's seen it, he's felt it, he's touched it. He's experienced it. It's not book knowledge, book dharma, the holy book. It's the holy life, the holy consciousness. So when he says Hare Hare, he sees Krishna. And where does he see Krishna? In what particular form? Brajavihari. With what particular qualities? The qualities that he exhibits when he's with Radharani. And where does he see this form and name and qualities being exhibited? In what particular pastimes? In the pastimes of Nishant Leela. Krishna waking up. So he's chanting. You can imagine what a beautiful reciprocation he had with Sri Prabhu. Hare Hare, now I'm in Nidhivan. Right? Hare Hare, then Krishna Krishna. Now I'm in Nandagram, waking up Krishna. Pratak Leela. Krishna Krishna is Pratak Leela. So that's why he's writing in his introduction, in Shikshastakam, Krishna's daily pastimes are being described. Cheto Darpana Marjanam is Nishant Leela. And when you get to Ashlishyava Parvatam Panashtamam, then you have Nisha Leela, Sambhog, Prem Sambhog. Radha and Krishna experienced conjugal union in the rasa dance and so many pastimes together, culminating in Samprayog, which means Ratikeli, the perfection of union. So this is called Prem Sambhog Bhajan. Ashtayam, which is seen, he chanted the Shlishyava Parvatam Panashtamam. And when he chanted that verse, the Shlishyamam Parvatam Panashtamam, the 8th verse of Shikshastakam, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the purity of his heart and consciousness, he saw Radha and Krishna's Nisha Leela. 6 hours of their pastimes unfolding at that time of the day. And all those leelas, so many leelas that happened in those 6 hours from 10:48 at night until 3:36, they all became compressed and experienced in 2 words. Hare Hare. 2 of the mantras. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Hare Hare is Nisha Leela. So when we chant Hare Hare, do we enter Nisha Leela? We enter maybe Nidra Leela. We say Hare Hare, Haribol. Some different Leela. We're in Shrishti Leela. And part of Shrishti Leela is Ahara Nidra Maitun Bhayam. Right? This is Shrishti Leela. Lots of eating, lots of sleeping, fighting, mating. But mating is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world, interestingly enough. You ever heard of any mating in Vaikuntha? You ever heard of any mating in Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan? There's no mating, because mating produces children. Natural mating, original mating, asli mating. There's no children being produced in Vaikuntha. There's no maternity wards there. And there's no children being produced in Vrindavan. And there are husbands and wives, and there's boyfriends and girlfriends. And there's no abortion either. Because it's the union of love, not the union of lust. It's the union of souls, not the union of bodies. The union of bodies produces more bodies. Union of love produces more love. So we're discussing the Shikshastakam and how this is all part of our Nam Bhajan. Of course, from day one in ISKCON, just see how Prabhupada has given us so many nice points to help our Nam Bhajan. And many people, they kind of throw it to the side. When they're a bhakta, they chant every day, Cheto, Darpana Marjanam. But then they move out of the temple, they get married, or independent brahmachari life. And then, what is this Cheto, Darpana Marjanam? Forget, we don't need to chant that in the morning. It's not very important. Then you find out, here's a person who's about, he's entering Nitya Leela in his Pravesh, and he's saying, oh, remember Cheto Darpana Marjanam that you chanted when you're a bhakta? I'm a siddha, I'm chanting 2 lakhs a day, and I'm chanting Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Acha? It's important? I thought that was part of the bhakta program. I'm big now, I'm Brahman initiated. I live outside, I'm married. I don't have time for that. He's saying in each one of these prayers, the Astakali Leela of Krishna is contained there. And Srinadapi Sunichena, the Astakali Leela is there, Purvan Leela. Krishna taking out the cows. When you chant Srinadapi Sunichena, do you see cows? Do you see Krishna and Balaram? So he's saying they're there. Each, so we believe it. Do we believe it? Yes, we believe our acharyas. Who else can we believe? Because he's saying Krishna's daily pastimes are being described in each sloka of the Shikshastakam. Why? Because it reveals the process of bhajan through which Radha Krishna's sweet pastimes are revealed to the sadhaka. How to chant the Mahamantra and combine the Mahamantra with the Shikshastakam. This is the question. What's the answer? First, and this Bhaktivinoda says in the introduction, we should spend a few days. Of course, it could be a few days of Brahma, or it could be a few days of human time. Depends on what it takes to learn the lesson and to reach the conclusion. But he's saying, from his perspective, he said a few days. So some people are fast learners, some people are slow learners, and some people never learn at all. Spend the first few days chanting the holy name in accordance with verse 1 before cultivating expertise in verse 2. Sounds like some CD cleaner. You get some CD to clean your hard drive. Press tape 1. When this is done, go to track 2. So he's saying that, he says, spend a few days with Chaitodharma, chant the holy name. Of course, when he's saying chant the holy name, he may mean a few days chanting 1 lakh a day, or 2 lakhs a day. So if we're chanting 16 rounds a day, then 4 days becomes 1 day. You follow? Because he's saying spend a few days chanting 64 rounds a day, with cultivating awareness and expertise in verse 1. Verse 1 is Chaitodharvana Marjanam. Chaitodharvana Marjanam represents Shraddha. And chant the holy name and read these verses describing Shraddha and many holy names, and see the connection between these holy names and faith and how that increases your faith. Then next become mature in your worship on basis of the first 4 verses. First 4 verses of Shikshastakam are Chaitodharvana Marjanam, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, then Trinadapi Sunichena, then the Dhanana Janana Sundaryam. Because these first 4 verses, they take us, or they should take us, with proper Nam Bhajan and proper study and practice. These first 4 verses, while chanting, along with chanting the Maha Mantra and assimilating the teachings and performing the proper bhajan as he guides in Bhajana Rahasya, these first 4 verses will take us from Shraddha to Ruchi. Verse 4 represents the stage of Ruchi. One can't have Ruchi for Krishna and for Harikatha and Nam Bhajan as long as he has Ruchi for Dhanana Janana Sundaryam. If one has taste, attraction, appeal, interest, inordinate attachment to wealth, enjoyment, woman, man, position, name, fame, then he obviously has not come to the stage of Bhajan Ruchi, devotional Ruchi. He says, next become mature, so that, he says the first few days, before cultivating expertise in verse 2. So verse 2, of course, is Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nijasar, the Shaktis. And verse 2 represents Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrti. So this is the thing. So the first 4 verses I said are Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrti, and then Ruchi. And he said, become mature at your worship on the basis of these first 4 verses before accepting one's spiritual body in verse number 5. Verse number 5, spiritual body means Siddhadeha. We accept our spiritual body in verse number 5. verse number 5 represents a Sakti, which means when one rises to the devotional stage of a Sakti, attachment for, at Ruchi, of course, we're attached to Bhajan, and we have Ruchi, we have taste for the limbs of devotion, taste for Mangalarti, attraction, interest. The word is used spontaneous. It's not exactly spontaneous, it's been cultivated. Spontaneous means it just happens, but we've cultivated our Vaidhi sadhana and we've come to the platform of Ruchi. And Ruchi is the honest threshold. Ruchi is the honest threshold to begin Raganuga Bhakti. So one reaches Ruchi, then he mixes his Vaidhi sadhana with Raganuga sadhana. Then he increases his attachment, his taste and attachment for the limbs of bhajan. And he may even specialize in hearing and chanting. He starts chanting more and more Nam. Hearing, chanting, remembering at the stage of Ruchi. He's beginning Raganuga Bhakti from the honest level of Ruchi, which is defined in Madhurya Kadambini. And then he increases his Ruchi and attachment. Then that attachment for the practices of bhajan becomes attachment for the object of bhajan. Means the object in this case means a person, not object as we know it, but the Prem Vishai. Prem Vishai, Premashraya. Prem Vishai means the object of Prem, who is Krishna. Or, depends on the Sthayi Bhava, you can say Radha also. But generally Radharani represents Premashraya. So the object of our bhajan. So a Sakti means, that's the 5th shloka of Shikshastakam. Kinkara. Kinkara Bhav, Kinkari Bhav. So this is when, he says, at this level of Nam Bhajan, when one comes to the level of a Sakti, which is realized and understood and developed, when one comes to this Shikshastakam verse 5, Ayi Nanda Tanaji Kinkaram. Kinkaram means Kinkar Bhav. Kinkar Bhav, and you can accept the spiritual body as a Kinkar, as a Sakha of Krishna, a mother, father of Krishna, as a servant of Krishna. Or Kinkar Bhav can mean Kinkari Bhav. Kinkari Bhav means Dasi Bhav, Sakhi, Mandri Bhav. Ayi Nanda, O Nanda Nandan, Ayi Nanda Tanaja Kinkaram. I am your Kinkar, I'm your friend. I want to serve you as your friend, or serve you as your Sakhi maidservant, as your Gopi Manjari. And I have nothing, there's no other object in my life but you. I'm chanting my name, thinking of you. Everything I'm doing is specifically fixed on you, the person. And I want you to hear my heart and attach me to your feet. Don't let me drift off in this material world and get stuck over here. It's a very perilous situation here. Can get trapped any moment because the Sakti is not a sure position. So this is represented by the 5th level. Stage 5, a Sakti. The sadhaka begins to take shelter of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet in his Siddhadeha and makes gradual progress in Prem Nam Bhajan. Verse 6 of Shikshastakam. In other words, the first 3 verses of Shikshastakam represent Vaidhi sadhana. The 3rd and 4th verse represent the transition from Vaidhi sadhana to Raganuga. Then the 5th verse represents the transition of Raganuga approaching Prem, because that's the midpoint. The midpoint between Raganuga sadhana bhakti and Prema is called Bhava Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So at this level of Ruchi, one is practicing Raganuga sadhana, developing his bhav, his attachment. Then he comes to Ayinandatana Chakinkaram, and this is a Sakti. So now he's in a very, very tight situation of attachment to Krishna, the person, and Radharani, the person. But there's still chance of slipping and falling into Maya. Then he continues, increases his attachment and his Nam Bhajan and practicing sadhana. Then he comes to bhava. And then the position becomes somewhat secure. So for the Raganuga sadhaka, who's practicing in Madhurya Bhav, at the level of a Sakti, he becomes attached not only to Krishna, but especially to Radharani. And here, because of his attachment to Radharani, he starts taking intense shelter of Radharani. Premashraya. Premashraya Radha. Because his Siddhadeha becomes somewhat revealed at the level of a Sakti, and he develops that attachment to that particular spiritual body. Then he comes to verse 6, Nayanam Galadashnadariya. By this time, which represents bhava, by this time in bhajan, the bhajan is matured and advanced to verse 6. One's contamination is mostly gone, and one has earned the right, the adhikar, to worship and internally serve in his siddhadeha, manasi seva or lila smaran. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is clearly emphasizing here that the entrance into Astakali Lila in a serious and genuine way begins at the level of bhava. And at the level of bhava, the proof that one has attained bhava is the internal, of course, 9 symptoms of bhava, the internal symptoms of intense attachment and not wasting any time, and namruchi, intense taste for the holy name, desiring to live in a holy place or making your life your house a holy dham or living in a holy dham. That is all there. That's part. But then there's the external symptoms, which Lord Chaitanya is describing in this verse number 6 in Shikshastakam. That at the level of bhava, there's some tears coming, natural tears, one's crying and remembering Radharani in the past times, hair standing in, etc. Nayanam Galadashnadariya, voice choking up. Nayanam Galadashnadariya, Varanam Gadgiravryagira, Pulakar Nichitam Pulkara, Tavanama Grahane Bhushiti. These symptoms can be imitated externally, so they're not the main judge of whether someone has attained bhava or not. But the internal symptoms of the depth of their attachment, which is proven by how much they control their sleeping and how much they're always speaking Harikatha and hearing and chanting about Krishna. 9 symptoms are there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur warns, however, the sadhaka who tries to meditate on his siddhadeha without the qualification of bhava, his intelligence, he says, viparita buddhi. Viparita buddhi. His intelligence will become upside down due to a lack of spiritual purity, attachment, and power. Very interesting, he uses the word power. Shakti means bhajan shakti, bhakti shakti. If one wants success in bhajan, he must carefully follow the progressive path of Nam Bhajan, step-by-step process. If we are engaging in bhajan, it's very interesting because in Harinam Chintamani, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains how he accepted his siddhadeha from his guru. His guru told him 11 symptoms of his spiritual body, Ekadash Bhav. And that book was written, Harinam Chintamani this is a sequel, Bhajana Rahasya was a sequel to Harinam Chintamani, which was written about 6 years before. So he had received his siddhadeha, and he was meditating on that and rendering service in the Leela. And then when he finally he was experiencing that, he accepted this Ekadash Bhav from his guru, and he was meditating and practicing that line. But then, when at the end of his life, and then when it came to actually writing about the process of bhajan, he wrote something else. He didn't write a book, a manual on Leela Smaran, specifically, or just, here's the Astakali Leela, then he said, no, this is the way. This is the way to realize your siddhadeha through Nam Bhajan. If a guru is available, if a qualified guru is available, who really has the quality, he's a genuine siddha, then he can give. And if not, the Nam is available to everyone. So he preferred to emphasize Nam Bhajan as a way to perfection rather than what was somewhat of a tradition, which, well, you can say was a tradition amongst many Gaudiya Vaishnavas to accept Siddhadeha directly from the Guru. So he didn't leave this world saying, yes, continue to follow this system, continue to follow, look for a Guru, take your Siddhadeha and do Leela Smaran. He's not saying that. It's very clear. So apparently, those types of siddhas, he's Trikalagya, so he was seeing, we can assume, that he wrote this book in the 1900s, in 1910, I believe, or so, and he left this world in 1914. So the summation of his entire life of bhajan, which was an intense life of bhajan, and study, and writing, and the sadhu sangha, the final conclusion, the secrets of his whole life's bhajan, are Bhajana Rahasya. So therein he's not saying, okay, listen, everyone should wants to find perfection in life. If you want to attain Krishna Prema, which Lord Chaitanya came to distribute, Braja Prem, then you should do like I did, and you should go to a spiritual master and accept your Siddhadeha and do a meditation. He didn't say that. He said, he's mentioning, he's not ordering or directing or suggesting that, but he's mentioning that as a process in Harinam Chintamani, which a lot of people stop there, and that's as far as they go with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Even people here, they say, oh, you know, you follow Bhaktisiddhanta Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Your Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about Siddhadeha. Oh, that's all he talks about. I say something today, I can't say anything different tomorrow. I'm duty bound, I have to say the same thing every year of my life forever. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy, bas. And 30 years later, so Swamiji, you can tell me some new revelations. Yes, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. Of course, it's eternally true. Things change. Being Trikalagyan, we can assume that he was seeing the future, that in the future there'll be less and less Siddha Mahatmas available, and such siddhas that can actually, and there'll be more and more people taking up Krishna consciousness, because Lord Chaitanya predicted that my name will go to every town and village. And even Bhaktivinoda Thakur was rejoicing in that prediction, because he was seeing that in his lifetime that his son, the Ray of Vishnu Siddhanta Saraswati, was fulfilling Gaurunga's order to spread the holy name to towns and villages outside of India in his own lifetime, which was amazing, because in 500 years before his son appeared, no one had done it. The holy name was in Bengal, a little bit in India, the villages. But then his son came, and now he took the holy name to villages in Burma, which is in Asia somewhere, Burma, and to Germany, and to France, and to Belgium, and to England. So many countries they went to, chanting Hare Krishna, taking the holy names. So Bhaktivinoda saw it. So then he wrote, he said, I foresee the day. This is in his writing. I foresee the day when the Western Vaishnavas will come to Mayapur, and they will join with their Bengali godbrothers, with the Bengali Vaishnavas. They all join together in Mayapur at the Yogapith, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, and they all raise their hands together. The Russians, the English, the French, the German, everyone, they'll raise their hands together, and the Bengali Vaishnavas and Arisan Vaishnavas, and they'll chant, Jai Sachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai. So this is the final word, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Nam Bhajan. Nam Karo, Jap Karo, Kirtan Karo, Kirtaniya Sadahari, Satatam Kirtiyanto Mam. Oh, but just japa? No. I know you can't control your minds, and your minds are going everywhere. It's not enough just to chant Hare Krishna. I know. Relax. Follow my bhajan path, progressive path of Prem Bhajan. Progressive path of Prem Nam Bhajan, okay? And if you follow this path that I'm giving you, combining these 6 components, and I guarantee you'll realize your Siddhadeha, you'll enter the Leela of Radha and Krishna, and you'll serve eternally in Prem Dham Vrindavan. Okay? This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's promise. Thakur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. He's warning, if the sadhaka tries to meditate on his Siddhadeha without the qualification of bhava, his intelligence will turn upside down, which means you will flip out of Krishna consciousness and go into Maya. You contact Rasakatha, Lila Katha, the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna, it will increase your desire to enjoy sex. And you will. And you'll fall down. You'll flip out. Flip off the path of bhakti. Why? Because you have a lack of spiritual purity, a genuine attachment, and power. Prabhav. You're immature. If one wants success in bhajan, what is success? Success is to attain prema and the prem seva Radha and Govinda, and to realize who we are. What is our spiritual, eternal spiritual form? Name, color, complexion, dress, everything. Who I am. This is the perfection. Then we should carefully follow the progressive path of Nam Bhajan. The step-by-step process. If we engage in bhajan after attaining our Siddhadeha, spiritual body, by diligently following the progressive path of Prem Nam Bhajan, then we will easily experience the bliss and joy of serving the divine couple, Radha Govinda Yugal, throughout the 8 periods of the day and night. Ashta Kalila Leela, Prem Nam Bhajan. In summary, the sincere Nam Bhajan sadhaka should meditate on the Shikshastakam and practice Smaran and Kirtan accordingly. Then gradually, one will attain the eternal Prem Seva of Radha Govinda Yugal in their blissfully sweet eightfold daily pastimes. All unwanted contaminations will go away, and we will attain the treasure of divine love. This is the introduction. This is the 6th component of Nam Bhajan, the Shikshastakam. So we talked about the Ashtayam, Astakali Leela, that's one component. The Shikshastakam, that's the 2nd component. 3rd component is the Mahamantra, the 8 pairs of the Mahamantra, 16 names and 32 syllables. And that's described also. Very interesting what each of these pairs of holy names really means, and really we can find here. This means performing Krishna Nam Sankirtan with Shraddha and faith. Destroying ignorance and chanting Krishna's holy name with faith. The second, that's the first pair, right? It's a pair too, Hare Krishna. The second pair, there's 8 pairs of holy names. And these 8 pairs of holy names are part of the sadhana. The second Hare Krishna means sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, and anartha nivrti. Here ignorance is destroyed. It means that Krishna's name is invested with all potencies. One becomes attached to bhajan by taking shelter of the holy name in association with saintly devotees. So this is now the third one is Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now 3rd pair, Krishna Krishna. This represents Nishtha, following according to a fixed number of japa, chanting day and night. Krishna Krishna. Now one adopts chanting and performing devotional service and chanting Krishna Krishna day and night with steadfastness. Krishna Krishna represents Nishtha. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Nishta. Then the fourth pair is Hare Hare. This represents Ruchi. This is the dawning of pure bhakti begins here. Because until that time, until we have Ruchi, we have too much, there's no real pure devotion. We're too mixed, it's all mixed with our other tastes and other interests. So this is Hare Hare Ruchi, Hare Hare Ruchi. The fourth pair of holy names, causeless devotional service is awakened, and one chants Hare Hare with relish. And this is represented by Ai Nanda. The taste coming. The fifth pair is Hare Hare. Fifth pair is Hare Rama. This is a sakti or attachment for Nam Bhajan. This arises, and one starts remembering Radha and Krishna's Leelas begins. He prays for Dasya Bhav to manifest in his heart. This is a sakti. His heart begins to melt, and Shuddha Sattva begins to contact his heart of the sadhaka and concentrates one's taste for chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And he begins to manifest the 9 symptoms of bhava at the level of a sakti, which is represented by the fifth pair of holy names, Hari Ram. The sixth pair, Hari Ram, in this state, with this mantra, Hare Ram, aversion naturally manifests for anything unrelated to Krishna. The heart melts as we chant sincerely. Bhava comes with symptoms like crying, etc., because Hare Ram represents this bhava. Then Ram Ram. Ram Ram, when one is chanting Ram Ram at this level, a bhava, one receives Ekadash Bhav, the symptoms of your individual sarup. One attains the exclusive shelter of the lotus feet of Radharani. In other words, after one acquires transcendental sentiments of feeling himself to be one's Radharani's maidservant, whose hearts are one with Radha's, he becomes overwhelmed by separation. Then the sadhaka should perform his Nam Sankirtan, considering himself that he has no devotion. And he feels so worthless and wretched. At this time, a transcendental intervals of spurtis begin to manifest within the heart. Ram Ram represents all that. The higher states that we can only wait and find out for ourselves. The eighth pair, he fixes his identity as a gopi in Vrindavan. He attains the ultimate goal of prem seva to divine couple. This is Hare Hare, the eighth pair. Radha Govindi, Yugal and Sambhog. So this is, these are all the higher states of bhava and bhakti, bhava and prema bhakti when one's chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So in Bhajana Rahasya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing the mercy of these 8 pairs of holy names. And he shows how to meditate on Radha and Krishna's Astakali Leela through chanting the Maha Mantra. So that's the second component of Nam Bhajan. And the third component is that's the third one. There's the yamas, the shikshastika, the Maha Mantra. There's the 9 limbs of devotion, that's the fourth one. Then there's the praman, the references, the verses that he mentions, the 200 verses that are mentioned in Bhajana Rahasya. Each of these verses, grouped in 8 sections, will cultivate our eligibility to enter nishta, ruchi, etc. And then the 6th one is what type of sadhaka we are. The book is written for devotees that are on the level of bhav, and the book is written for devotees that are not on the level of bhav. So when one's not on the level of bhav, he follows all these verses, he reads the accompanying leela that's described there, Astakali Leela, and he's praying for mercy, and he's becoming purified by continual Nam Bhajan, increasing his steadiness and his taste and his sentiments and feelings for Radha and Krishna. And at the level of Bhava, then he reads all these verses and he has so many higher realizations and so many experiences while reading the verses. And then he reads the pastimes that go with each section of the Shikshastakam, each verse. Then he actually enters the pastimes, because he's in Bhava, and he has his Siddhadeha. Then he enters the pastimes and serves there. But he'll find, even a Bhava Bhakti will find, Bhava Bhakta will find that these 200 verses of Bhajana Rahasya are very anukul for his bhav and developing his bhav and deepening his bhav and bringing him to the level of Prem Sambhog. So it's a very interesting book. It's like it operates on two levels. It's like it's a medicine. It's like a medicine. It's a tonic for a healthy person, and it's a cure for a sick person. You give one medicine. If the person's sick, then he becomes healthy. If he's healthy, it's a tonic, and he becomes stimulated, and becomes more energetic. So Bhajana Rahasya is like that, special. The structure chart for Sri Bhajana Rahasya. It's a little hard to see from that distance. This is the chart. And in this chart, you can see it has all these 6 components are there. Where my finger is pointing here, it explains at one point, for most of it, it talks about the Jatarati Sadhaka and the Ajatarati Sadhaka, how he'll approach this particular section. Then opposite these little writing, there's a circle, and it has some verse from the Shikshastakam, then it tells what Leela it is, then it tells what level of bhajan, what level of devotional development it represents, and then what pair of Mahamantra it represents. You see? As it goes from outside. It starts with the person, the Bhava Bhakta, or the one who's the sadhaka like us, or one who's in Bhava. And then the particular verse of Shikshastakam, and then the particular level of devotion, then the particular time of day in a Leela, and then the particular pair of holy names. You seen this chart? It's very nice. And when you read this, and you can, all the points I just said about the introduction, you can kind of think about it, and as you study it more with the writings, you can see how they start to interact. And it's like a mandala. In yoga meditation, you meditate on different mandalas, and eventually the mandala starts moving, because it's a circle, and everything is moving in this universe. So when you're seeing this, now it looks static. It's just some words on a page. As you meditate and understand the interaction of all this, then it starts moving. And then you move along with it through the eight periods of the day and through this progress from Shraddha to Prem. It's a very, very helpful chart. In conclusion, the introduction is finally concluding, I think so, part 1 of the introduction. Because part 2 is about Mahabhav. So we certainly need to be introduced to Mahabhav. And even when we get a Siddhadeha and go to Bhoma Vrindavan, we will also require introduction before we get introduced to the Seva. Mahabhav Sarupini Radha Ki Jai. In conclusion, Bhajana Rahasya is a window into Bhaktivinoda Thakur's personal bhajan practice. Bhajana Rahasya is a book of prayers, which means these shlokas. These shlokas are oftentimes prayers. Ai dina diyardarnatahe. One of the verses says, Ai dina diyardarnatahe matura kadava lokya say. It's a prayer Madhavendra Puri spoke, which Radharani spoke after Krishna went to Mathura. It's a prayer. Oh, my Dayatya, oh my beloved, you were Vrindavan-nath, and now you've gone to Mathura. When will you come back again? My heart is breaking, please. So it's a verse, it's a shloka, one of the 200 verses, but most of these verses are some form of prayer. There's a verse from Vritrasura in 6th canto. This is a prayer of Vritrasura. So it is a book of prayers. Prayers for Nishtha and Bhajan. Prayers for Prem Sambhoga Leela. Prayers for steadiness. Prayers for faith. It's beautiful. The book is so deep. Some of our senior godbrothers have asked us to produce a commentary and on this book and how to apply it to bhajan. But I have another book we're trying to do, and I'm thinking maybe to put it all in one somehow. I don't know if it's going to. I probably should make two. I feel like Rupa Goswami's dilemma. He wrote one drama. In that drama, one part was Vidagdha Madhav and the other was Alita Madhav. And he had Krishna and Vrindavan in that play, and then Krishna went to Mathura in the same play. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about it. He said, no. Actually, Satyabhama came in a dream. Satyabhama, who's Radharani, when Radharani takes a form in Dwarka, she becomes Satyabhama. The Satyabhama appeared in Rupa Goswami's prayers and says, look, don't take me out of Vrindavan. I'm Radharani in Vrindavan, and I'm Satyabhama in Dwarka. I don't want to leave my Vrindavan. You write a separate drama, two different dramas. One drama, I'm in Vrindavan with my Sham, Vidagdha Madhav. And then you make another one, Alita Madhav. That happened in a village in Orissa, when Rupa Goswami was on his way to see Lord Chaitanya in Puri. And that village is called Satyabhamapura. And it's between Bhubaneswar and Puri. And we visited that village, and there's a very old temple there. And there's in the place where Rupa Goswami had that dream, or spurti, is there. And we visited that place. That is nice place. Not that there's any similarity between the books about, hopefully to be written, nor the authors, but I'm just, at least we can remember Rupa Goswami and become purified. So this is a book of prayers, illuminations, revelations, and devotional meditations. There's a lot of I-O-N-S there. Illuminations, revelations, meditations, all are required, all are necessary. How many illuminations are we getting every day? How many revelations are we getting every day? And how many meditations are we doing every day? 0? At least I can say for myself, 0. If it's how many eatings every day, how many sleepings every day, how many forgetfulnesses every day, big time. But this book of prayers, illuminations, revelations, and devotional meditations, inside this book, they reveal the secrets of Gaudiya Vaishnava Raganuga Bhajan. So Bhajana Rahasya reveals the secrets of Gaudiya Vaishnava Raganuga Bhajan. How does it do that? It reveals the secrets of Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhajan, Bhajana Rahasyam, through the all-successful, all-perfect, all-blissful, simple and sublime process of Nam Bhajan, following the progressive path to Radha Krishna Prema. This is the Bhajan Pat of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajana Rahasya. This is his final word, his conclusion. Some of the devotees came late. We were mentioning earlier, of course, he himself was initiated and received his Siddhadeha from his guru about 10 years before this book was written, or maybe longer. Then he mentioned this, Harinam Chintamani, he mentions that at one level, when one is advanced, he should seek out a qualified guru and receive Ekadash Bhav, his Siddhadeha, like I did. And this is part of the Gaudiya Vaishnava practice, and it is. But then, after following that line and engaging that line, when he wants to leave this world and how he spent his own life, it was a little bit some different idea, because he could have said, as I did, you should do. Yad yada charati shrestas tat tat avetaro jana. So yat pramanam kurute lokostanana vartate. Whatever a great man does, a common man should follow. So I've done it this way, and I practice it this way, so you should do. But he did it that way and practiced that way, and all of a sudden he modified his practice and said, no, actually you should do it this way. Very interesting. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I went to him and I said, can you tell me the secrets of your bhajan? I understood you took Siddha Pranali from Guru. Should I do that? No. That was 1840s, you know. Where you find these Siddha Mahatmas? Where you can, or even if he was Siddha, whatever. This is not, look, it's Kali Yuga. Where are you born? I was born in Navadvip. You don't look like Bengali. Actually, I'm not. No, Acha, you're born in Russia? Acha. Oh, you're qualified. You should just do Nirjan Bhajan. You should go to Vrindavan to one Nibriti Nikunj and absorb yourself in Ashtakali Leela. Day and night, chanting 2 lakhs a day, absorbed in your Siddhadeya. You have the adhikar for that. Acha, thank you. No, Bhaktivinoda didn't say that. He said, hey, this is the progressive path of Prem Nam Bhajan. Do you want Prem? What is this holy name? That's the purpose of holy name. Because he didn't just say chant Hare Krishna, be happy. He said chant Hare Krishna, mix these 5 other components in your chanting, and then you'll get prema. Because all these 5 components are part of the Sambandha Gyan. And then Prayojana Tattva, everything. It's just such a wonderful book. This was the last point that in the introduction is written by his son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, in 1927, he's talking about his father, from mundane time, place, and persons. The devoted disciple, well, he's saying his father, which is what he did, but he's saying the disciple, freeing himself from mundane time, mundane place, and mundane persons. The devoted disciple should constantly discuss the secrets of Bhajana Rahasya. So this is the introduction, and then tomorrow we'll begin some discussion of Mahabhav, and then from that Mahabhav we'll enter into the Mahabhav Prem Leela and Prem Sambhog discussion of verse 8 of Shikshastakam.